Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Calvin Tobin Show. I am your host, Calvin Tobin. Today we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. Alright, this weekend, it was complete epicness all over the football world. From college football to the NFL. Upsets, blowouts, shocking wins, everything happened this weekend all over football, and it was absolutely nuts. But before I get into some football, let's talk some baseball first. And what's going on in the baseball world is the Milwaukee Brewers just became the third team in the National League and the MLB itself to clinch a playoff spot in the 2021 MLB playoffs. Now, with the Milwaukee Brewers, for me, they are my dark horse to get to the World Series, and it's all gonna be because of that pitching rotation. This pitching rotation is scary because we got three scary pitchers, or the Brewers got three scary pitchers that I guarantee no one wants to face. 2 starters and 1 relief pitcher. The 2 starters are both up for the Cy Young Award this year, which is absolutely nuts because it's hard as it is just to get into the Cy Young candidate to be able to talk about winning that award. And Milwaukee Brewers have got 2 guys in that conversation. Yeah, the pitching rotation for the Brewers is a different breed. But here's how lethal they are. Corbin Burnes has a 2.3 ERA along with 221 strikeouts. Brandon Woodruff has got a 2.5 ERA along with 198 strikeouts. Like, nobody wants to face these guys. And even after facing any one of these pitchers in the game, and it might be a close game, or you think you're about to win, hello, Josh Hader, relief pitcher for the Brewers. He has a 1.3 ERA along with 92 strikeouts. Like, what? 1.3 ERA? Like, does he allow any runs at all? Like, does anybody score on Josh Hader? Like, it's completely ridiculous on how crazy and how lethal these guys pitching are. Now we're just waiting for that playoff bracket to completely fill out and see who is going to be battling it out for that World Series trophy. Alright, now let's talk some football, and let's talk some college football first. And it is the game of the week, probably already game of the year. It is number 1 Alabama versus number 11 Florida. Florida ends up losing to Alabama 31-29, but Florida does win this game, or technically won this game, and let me explain how. Okay, so just for hypothetical terms, let's say that the first quarter does not count. Florida wins that game already because Florida ends up scoring and outscoring and beating Alabama from the second quarter on 26-10. They end up smacking Alabama if that first quarter does not count. But even if Florida scored one more time, just at all, it could be a safety, touchdown, or a field goal in that first quarter, and they did even scored one more time in that first quarter, Florida wins the game or ties it with Alabama. Florida is a scary team this year, and they completely proved it against Alabama, running all over them, getting their passing game going, and for Emory Jones to be able to have a running and passing game look that good against Alabama, Florida has a shot at winning the national championship this year. Now we just gotta wait for the results to unfold. Because in this game, it looks like it's going to be a rematch in the SEC championship in Atlanta with Florida and Alabama seeing each other again. And Florida is definitely going to get that dub again because Florida technically won that game, but they just got a little screwed because they were making a little bit too many mistakes in that first quarter, and Alabama was capitalizing on that. If that didn't happen, that would be an entirely different game. Alright, now let's talk about some NFL. And Lamar Jackson finally beats Patrick Mahomes. The kryptonite for Lamar Jackson finally gets beat, and Patrick Mahomes had quite a few firsts this time. One is first time he is third place in his own division. He's actually below the Raiders and the Broncos. And it's also in this game, he had a first where he finally threw his first interception and had his first loss in September. September is Patrick Mahomes' month, and for Lamar Jackson to come in and have an 11-point comeback in the fourth quarter, Lamar Jackson might be able to show this year that he is an elite passer, because he had just over 200 yards passing, 239 I think it was, and he also had 107 rushing yards with over a total of 2 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson showed that he was elite, and just as elite as Patrick Mahomes, and ends up getting that victory 36-35. But the thing about Lamar Jackson is his consistency on the way he plays. Like, it could be one game or even 2 games in a row where he's just on fire and like doing all ridiculous stuff. And even if it's a good or bad team, that third game, it's completely different and he looks normal. If Lamar Jackson can keep up the eliteness that he had against Patrick Mahomes last night, he has a chance at winning the MVP again and maybe goes farther than the second round into the playoffs this year. Alright, now here are my top college football teams for this week. Number 1 is Alabama. Undefeated, beating Florida, obviously. Got that technically lucky win, and has been dominant all year with smoking Mercer, smoking Miami, and just squeaking by Florida. Number 2 is Oregon, beating Ohio State, and now undefeated and coming off a strong win against Stony Brook, beating them 48-7. Number 3 is Georgia, coming off a strong win against South Carolina. Stetson Bennett is showing that he has got that passing game going, and he is that guy for Georgia for the next couple of years. Now, number 4 is a bit controversial, but it is Iowa. They have been completely dominant. They have 2 ranked wins, and they just dominated Kent State 30-7. Iowa is a team to be reckoned with this year. You slip up even once, and they're going to take full advantage of that, and it's going to bite any team in the ass. Number 5 is Texas A&M, coming off a strong win against New Mexico, 34-0. Number 6, Florida. I put them in the top 10 because of that game against Alabama, and they are scoring about 34 points a game, and they're showing strong running game all over the place, and now getting into that passing game that's going to make them even more lethal. Number 7, Ohio State. They are not as good as people think they are, because they're playing teams, even teams that they should be absolutely blowing out, a little too close. Especially this week when they played Tulsa 41-20. Yeah, now I get that's 21 points, but they did struggle a bit in the first half trying to get things going. Number 8, Cincinnati. Number 9, Oklahoma. Now, here is the biggest concern with Oklahoma. People think that they are actually a top 5 team, even though being 3-0. I get that they are 3-0, but they are playing teams way too closely. They almost got beat by Tulane and Nebraska when that should easily be a 30-point win in either of those games. If you Oklahoma is definitely not a top 5 team, and it's starting to look like that. They might not even be a top 10 team because they play West Virginia this coming Saturday, and and West Virginia is better than Tulane and Nebraska. So Oklahoma might suffer their first loss against West Virginia. And last but not least is Clemson at number 10. You can't tell me that Clemson is a top 5 team or even barely a top 10 team if they're almost getting beat every single game and losing a game against Georgia, only scoring 3 points. Clemson is at 10, and they're about to get outside the top 10, and it looks like Clemson's winning days, the way they used to win over the last 4 to 5 years, is over. Alright, that's the end of the Calvin Tobin Show. Please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any sports media, and please follow me on Instagram at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports news whatsoever, and I'm